Hello and welcome to the Non-League podcast with myself, Lee Simons. And today I have got another special guest with myself today. I've got the new Long Melford Reserve Team Manager, David Hennessey. David, how are you, sir? Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Lee. Thank you for having me, first off. And good. Enjoying this gorgeous weather and the strange bank holiday, because obviously it's not like a traditional bank holiday, is it?
No, it's kind of strange because I was speaking to the other half earlier and I said, "Is it a bank holiday today?" She went, "Yeah." It seems to be very, very strange because sunny, no one's going to work or anything, and it's just been a bit strange, really, hasn't it?
Well, the whole 10, 11, 256 weeks, however long it's been since lockdown started, has been. I mean, you have days where you don't know what day it is, and I'm fortunate. I'm still working, but I'm working from home. So I booked Friday off as well. So I was out on the golf course a couple of times over the weekend.
Excellent.
Because, when the weather's like this, and we can play golf because of social distancing.
Yep.
It was nice to get out and make the most of it. So it's been fun.
Yeah, I bet it has, especially in these climates, especially today anyway, because it's been absolutely glorious today.
Well, I didn't get on the golf course today, unfortunately, but I was out yesterday. I was out Friday, and I was out a couple of times last week as well. So hopefully the weather will continue and I can steadily improve.
It's like everyone, isn't it? You just have to go out there and practice, haven't we?
That's it. The more you play, the better you get. It's like anything in life. The more you practice, the better you are.
Definitely, David. So, what do you actually do then, David, for work?
So I've got a fancy title. I'm the head of local marketing solutions for a magazine and website in London. But ultimately, I run a sales team and account managers. So we look after small to medium-sized businesses in the hospitality sector. So guys that have been hit quite hard at the moment, but
yes.
We're doing everything we can to help them, and God knows we're looking forward to July, hopefully, when the pubs and bars and restaurants can slowly start to open up and get back to something that resembles normal. Yeah,
definitely, because being in the horse racing industry as well, and of course, myself and my dad, we actually run a business like doing outdoor activities as well. So we do like laser tag. So that's our business at the weekend. So we've been hit quite hard, really, but because where we are, the site's actually closed for like business, and we've just been up there just doing like a few building structures at the moment. So that's what we've been doing at the moment. And of course, doing the horse racing, I've been in contact with their HR, my manager, seeing how we're getting on. That's about it, really. So it's been very strange.
Yeah, it's difficult, and I think it's affected a lot of people differently based on their circumstances. I mean, my firm, we had to furlough a whole load of people because obviously business isn't going to be as busy or anything like what it would have been pre-COVID. But for those of us that are still working, obviously we're working our socks off trying to make things happen as quickly as we can, so that when everyone comes back, they can hit the ground running and we get back to sort of how things were before. But it's tough, and there are times when I sort of sit there and think, I wouldn't mind being furloughed. I could play golf every day. But then I think I'd go stir crazy, and having that sanity check of work, albeit from home and doing stuff remotely, but still being able to talk to clients and talk to my team and manage them through issues. It gives me that routine that I guess a lot of people are talking about not having because they're furloughed or they're not working at the moment, or their circumstances are slightly different. So at times I consider myself fortunate to be working and have that routine. Yeah. And there are times when I sort of think, God, no, I'd quite like to be getting up at 11 o'clock and drifting over to the golf course and not doing a lot else and drinking a lot. But I think everyone's done a lot of that during this period anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I think I've done quite a lot of drinking and a lot of other bits and pieces which I'm not really used to, like doing the garden, doing bits and pieces in there. And so it's been quite strange, really. But it's been okay because it's passing the time, passing the weeks. And, of course, I'm doing these podcasts as well and trying to keep everyone's interest up in doing non-league podcasts, which I'm gladly accepting the role in doing it, which is good.
No, I think these podcasts are great. By the way, I've obviously with a lot more time on my hands, I've had an opportunity to listen to some of the podcasts and just pick up on information of non-league football, especially in and around the Thurlow Nunn, which is a league that I'm not personally overly familiar with.
Yeah.
So just taking the opportunity to do not scouting necessarily, but just information overload, taking on loads of information, talking to people that have watched Long Melford reserves over the last 12 months, people that have been in and around the team, and just picking their brains on sort of what's good about the current team, what do they need to improve on, what areas do I need to go and really sort of drill down on. And I've been so grateful to the people that have imparted their wisdom and given me their advice, because it enables me to then start percolating a plan in my head in terms of what we're going to be doing when we get back, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Definitely, David, because it's the beauty of non-league football, isn't it? Because that's what you want in your case, being newly appointed as the Long Melford reserve manager. Because I think with the community of the non-league, I think it's all together. It's really good. You can even go to like the games when I've been to go in like a few years. It's just been great because you can see the same characters. You get to meet the new characters as well. You can talk to the players, management, like yourself, David, which is really good. It's nice to see this.
Well, I think that's the great thing about sort of just football management in general. I think at any level is that camaraderie. Obviously, when you're on opposite sides of the dugout and you're managing against someone for 90 minutes, you kind of dispense with the friendship as you go into battle. But at the end of the game, you shake hands, you'll go and have a beer. And like I've been so fortunate. I mean, I've been coaching now for 10, 11 years. And I've made some great friends, both on and off the pitch. And it's being able to be humble enough to go to someone and ask their advice or ask their insight and learn from them. And I mean that's I'm in a great position. Obviously, going to Long Melford, where we've got a very good management team.
Yeah.
Obviously, with Jamie in the league, but with a great support structure.
Yeah.
So again, I'm hoping to learn from the management structure that's in place, as well as the players that I'm going to be working with, and other managers from within the league. And that's how you progress as an individual, by always wanting to continue learning and always wanting to continue improving.
No, that's the main thing. So, David, for people who are listening to this podcast, can we have like a little bit of a background story and where it all started for you and how you got into football?
Oh goodness me! I think if truth be told, I probably came out kicking a ball because for as long as I can remember, I've loved everything there was to do with football. As a kid, obviously, I harboured ambitions of playing for England and winning the World Cup and God knows whatever else, like every young boy does. Mm-hmm. As I got a little bit older, I quickly realised that I didn't necessarily have the talent to go with the desire, but I played at school, and then as I got older, I playing in and around I'm from East London, so the Echo League was where it was all at, with teams like Simrab, Britannia Boys. So I've shared a pitch with some very, very good players over the years. At Simrab, I wasn't in the same team, but you had the likes of John Terry, Jermaine Defoe, obviously Ledley King I went to school with, so I know Ledley quite well, and he obviously went on to have a decent career, but for injury I think he'd have had an even better one.
Yes, definitely.
And then for me, it was through school, it was always like, okay, well, if I'm not going to play football, I want to do something around it. Yeah. And I sort of toyed with the idea of going into journalism. I ended up working in media on a different side of it from a commercial standpoint. But football has always been my passion. I remember sort of being 11 years old and huddling over a table at the back of the classroom, and we turn our books to the back and we just decide, right, okay, all-time greatest 11, and you'd sit there and you'd argue over who was going to be your goalkeeper, who was going to be your right back, what formation you'd play. And for some of the older podcast listeners, before Football Manager as we know it, there was a game called Championship Manager.
Oh yes, I remember it.
And my friends and I would lose I don't know if it was days, weeks, months, or years playing the game, and we'd all sort of huddle around an old-fashioned computer. This was before the internet, where you could play from different houses and everything else. We'd huddle around one computer, and we'd all like take it in turns to tactically tweak our teams and do all of our transfers. And it's something that's always been into me. Yeah. And whatever I've done, it's always been football first when it comes to everything. And then as I got older, I played at a Sunday league standard. I dabbled a little bit with Saturdays. Yeah. But again, I was a fringe player who would come in handy if you needed a body. I was fortunate to be left-footed, so you'd always find a place for a lefty because there wasn't too many of us floating about. No. And I had this uncanny ability to always score on my debut.
Well, there you go.
It went downhill very quickly after that, but I'd always nab a goal on my debut, and people were like, he's not bad, we'll have him back. Yeah. And so I stuck around a little bit, and then I got to, I think I was 28, 29, and the opportunity came to get involved with coaching the kids. So at Junior Hammers, which is it's an outreach program of the West Ham Academy. Wow. Over in East London. So they had kids all the way through. excuse me, that were part of the West Ham network, and I was asked to get involved with the under-8s. Oh, nice. And I don't know if you've ever tried coaching a bunch of 6 and 7 year olds, but to start with, you'd kick a ball in one direction, and they all flew off after it like a pack of wolves. Yep. But I have to say that arguably that's the most enjoyment I've ever had out of football, was taking those kids and coaching, developing them. They were like sponges. They were so eager to learn, and literally you weren't dealing with older players who had been out on a Friday night or had decided they didn't fancy it last minute, or these kids were so eager to turn up and learn, and it was yes coach, no coach, what do you want me to do, and just working with them and shaping them to the point that when I could put them on a pitch and they could actually play a style of football with a bit of discipline but with a bit of freedom, and ultimately with a smile on their face. That's something that I'll always remember. And then 2 years later, I was coached out of, shall we say, semi-retirement. My cousin gave me a call. He was playing Sundays, and he was like, "We're not very good, but it's a group of lads that have a kick about, lose more than they win, but then go for a couple of beers afterwards on a Sunday. And we're short of bodies. Do you fancy it?" And I thought, you know what? Why not? You're a long time retired, and whilst there's still a little bit of juice left in the legs, let's go and give it a whirl. In true David fashion, I scored on my debut, and the rest, as they say, was history. Because after I think it was a year and a half, our boss, bless him, got diagnosed with bowel cancer. Oh dear. And he turned around, as rightly he needed to. He's like, "Guys, I need to put my health first. So I'm gonna step back." But it's a club that's been going for, I think they've been going 10, 11 years at that point. Was well recognised in the local leagues as sort of like a good bunch of lads, like did all right at times, but probably punched above their weight more often than not. Yeah. And he was like, "Dave, do you fancy it? You're always telling me what I'm doing wrong after a game, and you're always eager to step in if I'm not around for whatever reason. Yeah. So do you fancy a crack at it?" And I had to admit, I've always been much more use on the side of the pitch than I ever was on the pitch, and that's when the managerial side of things really came to the fore, because I took over a team, and I discovered I had this ruthless side about me that I didn't know necessarily existed, because the team we were all a bunch of mates. Yeah. But because of that, there was no desire to really push on. There was no, you're not really good enough, so we're gonna sort of cut our ties with you, and we're going to move on in a different direction. There was none of that. It was just, okay, well, if we've got 14, we've got 14. Yeah. But obviously, that wasn't good enough for me. If I was going to commit to doing something, I wanted to do it properly, and that meant going out and recruiting players. That meant, unfortunately, having to say goodbye to some of the lads that had been around for 3, 4, 5 years. Yeah. But I made it quite clear that at the start of pre-season, everyone was up for audition, and over the years, I've been quite fortunate to have a couple of my brothers play for me, but also my cousin. So family and friends have all played for me on Saturdays or Sundays. And the one thing that I'll tell you is come game time, there are no family or friends. It's
Definitely.
I'm the gaffer. We're here to do a job, and I fell out with my brother for a period of time because we disagreed on his level of ability.
Right.
He thought he was better than I did, and that's something that we had to disagree on. But ultimately, I had a job to do, and the job was to deliver a standard of football on the pitch and results in the win column afterwards. And in nearly 10 years with Delta over in the Hackney and Leighton League, we went from Division 4 and like the lower reaches of Division 4 to we were on the verge of promotion to the Prem.
Oh wow!
With a cup win along the way, and I mean during that time we went through some players, but I had such a great sort of adventure, and I brought in players from not just all over London but all over the world. We had players come, and at one point we had an Australian lad, we had an Egyptian, we had an Italian. I had a lad that had played in World Cup qualifiers for Montserrat. So
my God.
We were like the United Colours of Benetton.
You are.
We came together as a team, and we played a brand of football that was just so fun to watch. I mean, I don't think we were ever involved in a 0-0 draw because my ethos and the players that I had, it was always about, right, we're going to play good football, and if that means that sometimes we leave ourselves a little bit exposed defensively, that's okay, because we want to play with a swagger, we want to play with a certain style, and to be fair, we never made things easy for ourselves. We'd often have to go 2-0 down before we'd come back and turn a game on its head. But that was part of the challenge, and also probably part of the reason why I'm follically challenged later on in life, because I spent so much time on the sidelines pulling my hair out.
Yes, I know what you mean, because I bet that was completely different from going back from those early days when you said about the underrates to like going into like the men's like coaching them. I bet that was completely different, wasn't it? So you got people, those underrates, being really enthusiastic, wanted to do whatever you said to do. Say yes, coach. There was never no coach. But then when you go into your brother's team, completely different, I bet.
Oh yeah. I mean, the difference between coaching kids and coaching adults, in simple terms, there are so many factors you have to take into consideration. Kids get dropped off to training, they get dropped off to matches, unless there's a family emergency. They're there on time, they're sober, and they're eager to play, and they look at you and they're like, this is my coach. If he says that's what we're going to do, that's going to work because he's coach. You turn up to a senior side, a men's side, and you've got guys wearing Messi boots or Ronaldo boots, and they spend more time doing their hair than they do paying attention to the team talk. And you get lads that just think they're uncoachable, or they don't need coaching. On the flip side, you get lads that are so enthusiastic to learn, and we'll pick up the phone after a game, 3 hours after a game, and be like, Gaffer, can you tell me what I need to improve on? Can you tell me what I did badly in that game, so that I can take that away and work on it for the coming game? And it's finding the sweet spot with each individual, because no two players are the same.
No, they're not.
Psychologically, it's about finding what motivates a player, but also what are their goals and ambitions. One of the things that I did with the lads at Long Melford, one of the first messages I sent them, I asked for a load of information from them, but I also said, what was your highlight of last season? And most importantly, what's your goal for the coming season?
Wow.
Because I want to know what every one of them wants out of next season, what their ambitions are, how high they're setting their bar. So I know how hard to push them, how hard to, like, when to cajole them with an arm around the shoulder, when to give them a kick up the backside and say, right, you've set yourself a goal, let's work together to achieve that. And it's been really, really interesting to get the insight back from them about their achievements last year, whether they were individual achievements or they were team achievements, or they talked about a specific game where everything kind of just came together for them. But also when they talk about the coming season, it's about improvement. It's about pushing on. For some of the younger lads, it's making themselves a regular in the reserve side, and then hopefully kicking on and making a couple of appearances for the first team. So it's whilst I'm not actually physically spending time with them and training with them and everything else, I'm still getting an insight into their psyche and their mental thought processes, which is hugely valuable ahead of sort of starting to work with them when the green light goes.
Definitely. I bet that was a bit of quite an interesting a couple of messages. What you probably got. You probably were surprised of Southern, were you? With the messages?
I don't know if I would have been surprised, because obviously I don't know the lads personally. No. So it's hard to say surprised, but I think it was interesting because some of them gave you quite a long thought out answer.
Yes.
In terms of there's one particular lad that I remember. He talked about a specific game as his highlight of last season, but then he went on to say why that game stood out and how it wasn't just a team performance, but also that he felt that was one of his better games and he really contributed to the result. And then so from that I fired back with, okay, well, tell me a little bit more about you as a player, give me more to work with, so let me know what I've got. And we talked about strengths, but we also talked about weaknesses. And I think one of the keys with any player is being able to, and a manager, is being able to put their hand up and say, here's my strengths, but here's also what I know I need to work on. And if we work on these things together, I know that in 12 months' time, that player will be a better player than he was when I first got my hands on him. And that's my job, or one of my jobs, obviously, as a reserve team manager, is to coach and develop players and hopefully put them in a position that when they're called upon, and they can go and represent the first team and do themselves proud and hopefully stay there.
That's all it's about, isn't it? Really, Dave, because you want to progress those players, what you have, into like the first team, or even go higher with the Long Melford, say first team, and go higher into the league. You know, because there's so many good teams in that league. You got even first to the bottom. Really, it's all a competitive league, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think from any player's perspective, obviously, if they're playing the game, they're playing it first and foremost because they love the game. Some will have ambitions of wanting to play at a higher level. Some would have tasted playing at a higher level and have dropped down to want to work back up to that. And others will be just happy to go out and play at the level that they're playing at because they know they can compete and that they're enjoying their football. So it's about finding what each individual's ambition is and then going out and saying, all right, we're gonna persevere with that. I mean, the interesting thing is obviously working as a reserve team manager isn't something I'd had experience of doing up until Tiptree Heath just over a year ago when I took over the job there. I'd always ran the senior team, and we'd had a sort of a reserve team affiliate at my old club. So I was picking the players for the first team and then sort of making players available for the reserves. So flipping that on its head and having that 12 months of experience at Tiptree Heath was a huge eye-opener, but also improved me massively as a coach and as a manager. So I was very grateful for the opportunity, and we packed a lot into that 12 months.
No, I bet you did. So from the Sunday League team, whereabouts did you go after that?
So literally just over a year ago, conversations happened. So I relocated to Colchester. I moved from London to Colchester 3.5 years ago. Right. So Sunday mornings I was getting up and I was driving from Colchester up to Hackney Marshes to run my Sunday team and then coming back. And there was even a period of 6 months where, should we say, I wasn't allowed to drive for a little while.
Okay, fair enough.
And so I was literally getting a cab from my house to Colchester to get a train to Ingatestone, to get a rail replacement bus to Stratford, to get a taxi from Stratford to Hackney Marshes, and I was still there before some of my players.
Really?
And I still didn't miss a game. So the commuting to and from games in London wasn't an issue. No. But a friend of mine mentioned the Border League, and I'd never heard of the Essex and Suffolk Border League, but he mentioned that there was a team, Tiptree Heath, that were looking for a reserve team manager, and would I be interested? And I thought to myself, well, I haven't quite peaked in the Hackney and Leighton League, but I'd certainly gone close to as far as I think we could have gone. There were some very, very good teams at the top of the Prem who had access to players that other teams didn't have access to, and whether that was because they were a YouTube channel, or they had big sponsorships, or they had semi-pro players that were available to them. So we play these guys, and invariably, we came up against some very, very good teams, and we gave them some really tough games, but we just didn't have the strength in depth to be able to mix it at that level. No. And I could turn up on the Marshes. I knew all of the other managers. I knew all of the league staff. I knew a lot of the players. But I'm not a big fish in a small pond, but I knew I was at a level, and I could quite comfortably have stayed there for another 10, 15 years and just been operating in a comfort zone. And the prospect of coming out to an entirely different league where I knew no players whatsoever, to get involved with a team that, the Tiptree Heath Reserves in their first season picked up 5 points in total. Wow. They managed 1 win, and they had some tough games. So I sat down with the then chairman Paul Harvey and the club secretary Ian Dobbins, who is a bit of a local hero when it comes to Tiptree football. And I talked football with those guys for about an hour and a half, and they were like, we want this guy. And I said, obviously, one of the things that I can bring is players, because I'm quite fortunate to have quite a black book of player contacts. And I've never had a problem with recruiting before, so I didn't imagine it would be an issue down here as well. So they were like, brilliant. Obviously, meet with the first team manager, get an understanding of how you two will work together. And it's all about cohesion, because the previous season, there hadn't been a single player from the reserves that had represented the first team in the Border League Prem. So I had a specific mandate: come in, stabilise the team. There was a lot of players that were just in the squad by virtue of the fact that we couldn't get any other players to play. So improve the general quality of the squad, make us more competitive. When I asked at the start of pre-season, what's my actual goal? What are you going to judge me on? What do you want to see from us this season? And I was told 6 points would be a great start.
Right. Okay. Wow.
So we managed that in our third game.
Oh, right. Okay.
And when the season was curtailed, we were 7th in the league. We were 5 points off of 6. We had 2 games in hand. Wow. We were in the quarterfinals of one of the cups. We had a decent little run in the Essex Junior Cup. And we were playing a good brand of football. And the icing on the cake for me was, over the course of the season, 11 reserve team players represented the first team.
Wow, there you go. Excellent.
So I would say, job done. It was sad that we didn't get to finish the season, but because I was confident we'd have sneaked into that top half, which would have been a massive improvement year on year. And I fancied us as an outsider. We were an outsider in every game we went into, because the previous season everyone was like, well, that's just little Tiptree. We give them a beating last season. We'll do it all over again this year. And we took a few people by surprise. I remember playing Mayland Village in the first round of the Junior Cup, and everyone was like, oh, they're a Mid-Essex Prem side. They're like 3rd in the Mid-Essex Prem. Right. They're absolutely going to roll all over us. And no one outside of that dressing room gave us a cat in hell's chance. We were 4-0 up at half time, and the final score, I think, was 4-1. Wow. But we coasted home. And for that first 45 minutes, we played some amazing football, and they couldn't live with us. And that was probably the performance of the season for me, because then we took that underdog mentality into every game we played, and it was only sort of the second half of the season where teams started giving us a bit of respect and giving us a bit of credit, that we couldn't necessarily wear that underdog tag anymore, and had to go out and work hard against teams that knew what we were about. And that was arguably harder than having the surprise of, oh, they're better than we thought they'd be.
Yeah, that's the strange thing about it, really, because especially when you've only just come into the league, into the club as well, and you basically you are the underdogs in every single game what you played because of the last season. But that's an achievement in itself because you've like bedded down what you wanted to have in that team, and it showed.
But I mean, yeah, you're right. But I was very, very lucky because I had there was 4 or 5 players that played from last year that basically I had to convince to stick around. And credit to them after the season they'd had. If they'd have gone elsewhere, I really wouldn't have blamed them one bit. Yeah. But these guys were like, you know what? I like the sound of what this guy's saying. Let's stick it out and give it a season. Yeah. And credit to those guys, they were hugely valuable throughout the season. But then the players that I brought in through my sort of London contacts, I was bringing players in, but also I recruited a player. So I organise a charity fundraising football match every year. In fact, it would have been played today.
Right. Okay.
If all things had gone to plan.
Yeah.
And one of the lads that played in that last year, I actually brought him over to pre-season, and he ended up he was one of our captains, and he brought in a couple of players with him. But the London guys, especially, I mean, such was my commitment to getting results and putting players on the pitch that I would often, my Saturday would start at sort of 9-10 o'clock. I'd drive up to the ground, set up the pitch for a home game, and then drive up to London, pick up a load of players, stick them in the car, drive back to Tiptree, play the game, then go to the clubhouse after the game to sort of do our post-match stuff, and then drive them back to London before coming back to Colchester around about 7 o'clock in the evening. So 300 miles every Saturday just to get 3 points.
Well, in the end, it showed, didn't it? Because I was just about to say, how would you get the players from London to you? And you've answered my question. So that's what you want to do. You want to bring your players in, and you've got the results.
Oh yeah, and I mean there were times that we have a few cars coming from London, and at the start of it we had a couple of people that were driving, and then I lost one to long-term injury, and then another one decided he was going to play closer to home. Yeah. But I had a lad that would literally drive from Watford to Tiptree to play for Tiptree Heath Reserves. And that was his Saturday, and I mean, obviously he could have played a lot closer to home, a lot easier. But he was a lad that had played for me on Sundays, and was a very, very useful player. And so I said, right, let's get you involved. And he came down from Watford and did a bit for us every time we needed it. So credit to the players. I mean, the players do all the work. It's I just sort of put them all together and get them to gel and play a style of football that they enjoy, so they can express themselves on the pitch. But they do the hard work. They're the ones running around and
exactly
putting the ball in the back of the net.
That's it, isn't it? They're doing the running. You're just on the sidelines, just doing the tactics. And credit to you. You know, you've got them working and you got the results to show for it.
I mean, oftentimes, I mean, I would do the team talk before a game, and I'd pick the team. But when I put the team on the pitch, invariably it's little tweaks here or there. But I would say to the boys, if you see something on the pitch that I can't see on the sideline, change it. Don't wait till half time, because half time may be too late.
Exactly.
Take responsibility for the game. Take the game by the scruff of the neck. If you don't like the look of something, and I had my lieutenants, my senior players, and I'd say, right, if you don't like the look of something, fix it. Or, you know what, shout over to me, Dave, can we do this?
Exactly.
Why? Because of this, that and the other. Okay, I'd seen that as well. Let's make the change and go from there. And the players had that autonomy to be able to suggest to me, something's not working, can we tweak it? You know what, the two wingers, let's have a little swap over for 10-15 minutes, see if we can get better joy out of the opposing fullbacks.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think when you give players that autonomy and that freedom to play the game and just enjoy it, and because there's no more enjoyment than when you're winning games. No one enjoys football if you're losing. It becomes a chore. So you make it fun for them, you make it enjoyable, you play a brand and a style of football that people are going to enjoy, and they'll come back week in, week out.
Definitely, even if you win, lose or draw, really, it's all about enjoyment of the game, isn't it? It's not all about the individuals. It's about the team. You know, it's all about the team, isn't it? At the end of the day.
a team is a sum of all parts, and it's when you take all the pieces. And if you think about it, you've got 11 lads on the pitch, you've got a couple on the sidelines. Some of these lads have known each other for a year or two. Some have known each other for a week or two.
Yeah.
But if you can put them on the pitch with a common goal and a series of simple instructions, and that's all I do. The template is simple.
Yeah.
And then go and express yourself and enjoy yourself and play with a smile on your face, because I guarantee you, if you do that, it'll come easy anyway.
Yes, definitely. Especially when you've got your players wanting to fix like the problems or the errors, what you can't see on the sidelines. That's what it's all about, isn't it? It's all about taking control of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's it. And I think sometimes you can coach that out of players. You can make them too scared to make mistakes. And I'm a big fan of sort of looking and reading and learning about other coaches and how they approach things. I subscribe to something called Coach's Voice, and they work with pro coaches, and there's insight and interviews and why did you do this in a certain game. If you ask Jose Mourinho how he combated Leo Messi in a certain game with certain players, and it's fascinating to learn the nuances and the way coaches approach things. And the one thing that carries through on everything that you see is if you keep it simple, players will respond to that. If you give them a clear set of simple instructions and then let them fill in the blanks, they're not robots. So don't treat them as robots. It's not FIFA. You can't control their every move. So let them play.
Exactly. Even if it's like, if they see something, you just go and do it. Like you were saying about the wingers, why don't you swap them over, or even swap a defender over for a midfielder? Maybe you can get the ball in the middle of the park and you may be able to flick on and score a goal. You just don't know, do you?
And we did that throughout the season. In fact, our top goal scorer, he started out playing as a striker, and it was on one of the drives back to London. I was talking to my skipper, and he was like, "Have you considered trying Martin as a winger in certain games?" And I was like, "I had toyed with it, but you've got to have then someone to slot in as a striker to enable him to shift over to that wing position."
Exactly.
And when we made that acquisition and we brought in a striker, we slid him over to the right hand side, and he was terrifying. Pace, power, direct, a real handful, and teams couldn't live with him. And that's something that obviously when you're having those discussions and you look at a player, and it's great when you hear a player echo your sentiments or even spark a thought that makes you think, actually, we could have a look at that, and you go away and do it, and then you put it into action, and suddenly you've got 2 or 3 people that are like, you know what, we made that work. Exactly,
especially if you like on the training pitch and you do like attack against the defence, you like swap it around. If it works, and then you try it in a game. If it works, brilliant. It's like my other guest Ben, he was talking about a corner routine. They worked on the actual training pitch, and then they tried it in a game and it worked, and they scored a goal from it, which is good to see.
Well, I chuckled when I was listening to that because I have a corner routine, and I won't give too much away because hopefully I'll be planning on using it at some point in the coming season. But I introduced it to my Sunday League side, so to Delta. And they looked at me like I was mad because it's got a special code name. So all you would hear was this code name hollered from the sideline, and a certain set of movements would come into play. Yeah. And like it worked, probably worked 3 out of 10 times. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. And you can only try it a couple of times a game because it became quite apparent what was going on. Yeah. But when it worked, there was nothing more enjoyable. The satisfaction of turning around and going, "Told you so," and seeing it work and that kind of that attention to detail and being able to do those clever little things and working with players, like you say, on the training pitch and then translating it to on the pitch. Yeah. I love the real. I'm a massive fan of the NFL, and if you've ever watched American football, like the intricacies behind any one play. Yeah. I mean, there are literally 11 players that all have a specific set of instructions, and those instructions change based on like what can happen in a matter of a flick of a switch. Yep. So when it comes to set pieces and little tactics and things like that, I do love to get a little bit crazy and come up with some weird and wonderful stuff. But I'll keep the rest of that under wraps until next season.
It's like when I was playing football, and I always just used to stand right in front of the goalkeeper because I'm quite tall anyway, and being over 6 foot, I just stood right in front of the goalkeeper, and I just said to the guy taking the corner, just put it into my direction, and I'll cause chaos. All I did was cause chaos, and then I had one time I had the goalkeeper just punch the ball back into his own net, and it's like I didn't even do anything. I just stood there and I caused chaos. I was getting shoved. I was getting I was getting kicked. It's just like, well, I'm just going to stand here. You can do whatever you like, and if you're going to punch the ball into the back of your own net, then that's fine by me.
Just get in there and make a nuisance of yourself.
That's what I was doing. It's great to see when it worked, which is quite good to see. But
isn't it nothing more enjoyable than seeing something come off and thinking, that's exactly what we wanted. That's the outcome that we needed.
Especially when you're saying about the NFL, there's so many different plays, and when they get that play right, it's just unbelievable to watch. All the wide receivers, even the running backs, they know what they've got to do, and they've got those simple instructions of what to do. It's great to see.
Oh yeah, and it's like the quarterback. I mean, and like we talk about information overload.
Yeah.
The amount of information that goes into an NFL playbook, even a college playbook.
Yeah.
You've got to digest so much information. You get a code. You get literally X's and O's, numbers and letters shouted at you, and based on that, you then got to recognise what the play is, what your instructions are. And then you've literally got to watch everything unfold in a matter of seconds while someone else is trying to hold you, stop you, change your direction and everything else. And everyone else on your team is relying on you to do what your instructions are in order to make them that play successful. And the intricacies of it, but then it's like a chess match because the defence are obviously trying to cancel that out and diagnose the play and get out there and in front of it. Yeah. And I think on every single play you're talking about absolute giants of men buffeting into each other at ridiculous speeds. And behind it all is this quarterback that's just dissecting a defence and making things happen like a grandmaster and a chessboard.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when, like in football as well, you've got your team captain, you've got the goalkeeper, striker. They can see everything. Even the goalkeeper can see absolutely anything on that pitch. They can direct and do anything what they want to do. It's the beauty of the game, really, isn't it?
Well, I think that's the key. You have your natural leaders, but like every team has different personalities. Yeah. You can sometimes your best player isn't necessarily the most vocal because they've never had to be. They let their feet do the talking. Yeah. Sometimes the most vocal isn't always necessarily the calmest in certain situations because they're a bit of a live wire and will go off at the deep end. So you've got to identify what personalities you have within the team, and you've got to know how to get the best out of each individual by giving them certain responsibilities. And that's the exciting thing about going into a new dressing room again. Obviously, I had it with Tiptree. I went in there, and the dressing room, to be fair, was it was a humbling place because it was quiet. There was no real atmosphere. No one expected anything. Yeah. We were gonna be the whipping boys again, and then it was quite interesting that after 5 or 6 games, you'd go in there. The music was up, everyone was jumping. There was a much better energy around the place, and that came solely from winning games and wanting to win more games. They got the taste for success, and they wanted more of it. And looking at obviously Long Melford, the reserve team results last season, they didn't do too badly in the circumstances. Obviously, I know there was a couple of changes to management, and Mick Garvey, the under-18s manager and a first-team assistant manager, took on the role of a reserve team coach. Yeah. So there was a state of flux, and I know there was a handful of under-18s that were sometimes playing 2 games on the weekend, so playing for the under-18s and then playing for the reserves as well. And that's asking a lot for any player, let alone a young developing lad. So hopefully we'll bring in a bit more experience into the dressing room. Yeah. I mean, there are some experienced players in there who weren't really about as much due to injury. towards the end of the season, but we'll bring those guys back in, and I'll hopefully be adding some more experience to the dressing room, so that we can continue developing the youngsters. And I know Mick's got a couple of younger lads in the 18s who will be looking to push on and play reserve team football. And you've got to have the right kind of dressing room to be able to encourage and develop the young lads, so that we can push them on towards first team football, hopefully.
Definitely. So how did the Long Melford job come about anyway, David? Did you just get like a phone call, or was it like an advert? How did they get in contact with you?
So it's an interesting one, because my goalkeeper at Tiptree Heath, Lee Greenwood, was he was involved with Long Melford and the reserve team a couple of years ago. Yeah. And I think I saw the ads the same day Lee and I had a chat about it, and it was just an off the record chat, and we were just sort of looking at, and I was like, that's an interesting one. And he's like, the great setup. Really good sort of bunch of people over there, and I thought to myself, I mean, it's a big step to go from where I am all the way up to sort of Thurlow Nunn Reserve. But then it's like, well, if you don't put your hat in the ring, you don't sort of get a chance. So exactly. I was told, the conversations have taken place, and you should probably apply, and it would be a good thing for you to do. And then sort of the process went on. The closing day came and went, and then Jamie Bradbury got in touch, and he's like, "We've shortlisted 6 potential candidates, and we would love for you to be one of them." And I was like, "Fantastic!" And to be honest with you, and I've said this to Jamie and the guys, I went into this experience thinking, you know what, it'll be a great experience to understand and learn what they're looking for at this level, because I expected there to be candidates with more experience, with more knowledge of the Thurlow Nunn, potentially even the reserve league, but also football in this area. I'd only had a year in the border league, so wasn't necessarily armed with the most amount of experience and knowledge. But I thought, what a great opportunity just to learn and understand what they're looking for at that level. And I got on the phone with Jamie, and as with me, whenever I'm talking to what I'd call a football person, the conversation just flows. We were talking about experiences that we'd had in and around the game, life in general, just having a chit chat kind of thing. And we got on quite well. And I said to Jamie, if you're looking for someone with experience at that level, if you're looking for someone that's got players from the local area in their pocket, then you're going to have better candidates than me. But if you're looking for someone with passion, with a determination, with a will to win and play a style of football that is attractive, easy on the eye, and fun, I went, then you're going to struggle to find someone that's got my level of commitment. I mean, no one else is driving 300 miles on a Saturday just to get 3 points. Exactly, and I think that really resonated with Jamie, because he said, like, obviously we'll be in touch. We're going to whittle the shortlist down from 6 to 2, and then we'll be doing second interviews via Zoom with him and his 2 assistants. And I was like, brilliant. Okay, let's see what happens. Jamie came back to me. He was like, listen, we want to see you again. You're through to the final stage kind of thing. How are you fixed for Thursday?
All right, okay.
Wow. I was like, okay, well, now it's 50-50. Now it's a toss of a coin kind of thing.
Exactly.
So I'm thinking to myself, this could be interesting. But on the flip side of that, it literally in the same week, a really close friend of mine sadly lost his life due to coronavirus. And we were like massive football friends. Someone I'd known for an awful long time, was a real sort of confidant of mine, someone I really looked up to and respected massively. So on the one hand, you had the highs of sort of what was going on in the conversations with Jamie and the guys, but also the lows of really sort of being in not a bad place, but just it hit me quite hard, and I didn't realise quite how hard it hit me until probably a couple of days later. And I was like, that really became my motivation, and just put it all in there, as you do when it comes to football, and what will be will be. So I sat down and spoke to Jamie, Steve, and Mick, and just sort of reiterated that for me, it's about, with a reserve team, it's about developing players through from the 18s with the reserves and creating opportunities with the first team. I'm a crazy son of a gun because I'll drive to get players if I have to. I'll get players there by hook or by crook.
Yep.
On the whole, players tend to, I don't know if like me would be the right word, but they certainly tend to respect me, and they will play for me, which is obviously a big deal. And yeah, the desire to be a part of something and build something and work with good coaches to make players better. And even then, to be totally honest with you, Jamie said, right, well, we're going to interview the other guy, and then we'll take a couple of days, and we'll be in touch probably Sunday with our decision.
Oh wow.
So I thought, okay, I've done what I can do now. It's out of my hands.
Exactly,
Let's see how things go. And it was that evening that Jamie rang me back, and I've seen the number come up on my phone. I thought, this can't be good news, because obviously they've had the other guy, and they thought, it's a no-brainer here. This guy's the one that we want, and let's not drag it on any longer. Let's put him out of his misery. I've answered the phone. I thought, you know what, fair dues. It's been a great experience. I've learned from it. I know what's needed, and I know that I've got what it takes to operate at that level, kind of thing. And Jamie basically said, like, listen, we've spoken to the other guy. I've had a chat with the boys, and we've reached a decision, and we're not going to sort of drag it on because we'd like you to come on board and join the team.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I've got to admit, I was buzzing. I was very, very excited. It wasn't a case of not thinking that I could do the job, because football's football.
Exactly.
But to be able to go from where I was to where I am now and continue on that journey, and like I said, work with Jamie, Steve, and Mick, and everyone involved with the club. It was a huge opportunity, and I couldn't really say no. And so that led to conversations, obviously, with my chairman and the club secretary and the players and everyone at Tiptree Heath. But they were absolutely fantastic, and wished me nothing but success, and thanked me for the work that I did. And sort of I went with their blessing, which was important to me, to handle things respectfully and do it in the right way, not burn any bridges, because ultimately football's a small world, and what goes around comes around. So things were handled in the right way. Things were like clear, and Jamie and I sort of agreed we'll let the dust settle, and then the club can make the announcements. And then it was made official. But the best or worst part about that, depending which way you look at it, was obviously I couldn't go down to Stonylands to do like a photo shoot in front of the stand because of social distancing. So Jamie asked me to send a headshot picture, which he then superimposed onto someone else's body. I still don't know whose body it was. They superimposed me onto someone else's body. And that was what went out on the press release. So I'm missing half an ear if you look closely at that press release. But honestly, my head's not quite that round. I promise.
Fair enough. So is it basically a bit of a shock for you, really, because you've had the interviews, you've done done a really good job in your first season in the Suffolk and Essex Border League, and you're thinking, why not just have a shot? And then, of course, here you are now, the Long Melford reserve team manager, which is really good.
Well, I mean, but then it's the same principle with the move to obviously the Essex and Suffolk Border League with Tiptree Heath. One thing I will do is back myself, and not to be big-headed or arrogant, but because it's just, as a manager, you have a set sort of requirement of what you need to do and how you need to do it. But players seem to like what I do. It seems to translate itself nicely onto the pitch, and if you keep players happy and healthy and playing a good brand of football, then being a manager isn't very difficult. It's how you handle the tough times when things aren't quite going everybody's way, and you've got to pull people together, and that's when you have to sort of be the psychiatrist, the big brother, the angry dad, all of those things in sort of certain points, and that's when you test a manager, not when things are going well, but when you're up against it. And I think I'd like to think I've done a good job of creating a team family. So we operate as a unit. We are we are only as strong as if we stick together. Because if we start arguing with each other, if we start getting on each other's cases, that translates and everything falls apart. If you're a unit, if you're working together as a team, and you win, lose, or draw together, no one individual player can win a game of football on their own. It doesn't matter how good they are. Messi, as good as he is, couldn't beat 11 men on his own.
Exactly.
So it becomes leave your ego at the door. Come in, subscribe to being part of a team and the team ethos and the team success and working. Obviously, there's individual goals in there. People want to be top goal scorer. They want to be getting assists. They want to be getting clean sheets. They want to be ticking their individual appearance goals and things like that. Totally get that. But individual goals are a part of what makes the stepping stones to success. And that success only happens if you're part of a team.
Yeah, definitely.
So my job is to cultivate a team and put these guys in the right frame of mind with the right tools, i.e. the other players around them, to go out and make good things happen. And that's what I think I do well. And then the players just go and do their thing. So I love the old adage that if a team wins, it's the players. If a team loses, it's the manager. Yeah. And I think some of us, we're an unusual bunch because it takes a certain breed of animal to be a football manager and to be a coach and to be in the position that we put ourselves in, week out. But I also think there aren't many that are as passionate and care as much about their players on and off the pitch. I'm very fortunate to sort of call a lot of my players friends, and I was humbled by some of the messages that I got from the Tiptree Heath boys, obviously when I told them the news, because that meant a lot to me. And so I think it speaks volumes about what I've achieved in the small time that I've had working with these guys. Yeah. And I'd like to think I've made some good friends along the way. So I think if that's what I take as my legacy, if you like, from football, if nothing else, then I'm happy so far with the journey and where it's taken me, and let's see what the next chapter looks like.
Yes, whenever that will be. Hopefully, it will be August. Hopefully, when you can see the lads and then get to know them and do what you need to do, like routines and stuff like that with pre-season, and then getting into the matches.
Please God.
Yeah. So, what is going to be your plans now from when you get the green light? What do you want to, what are you going to be doing with the lads?
Well, funny enough, I was talking to them today, and obviously as things are starting to progress with pro football, as we're all sort of eagerly watching to see how that unfolds, and the Premier League and the EFL, and see if football's going to happen or not. The boys are eager. They want to get back to training. They want to get a pre-season under their belts. I've got potentially half a dozen opponents lined up for pre-season games just as soon as we're given the go-ahead to start training and getting games under our belt. We sent out a players wanted post on Twitter and our social channels, and so far I've had 18 players send me their details ahead of, and we don't even know when the trial date's going to be yet.
Wow.
Although one of those was a gentleman from Uganda who was asking about flights and accommodation for the trial. So I'm not sure he'll make it, but I have had 17 players send me over their details and fill in the player profile questionnaire that I send to everybody. So any aspiring players out there that are listening into the podcast, just reach out via Twitter, and please do get in touch, because we're going to have some fun. And then when training starts, training will start in earnest. Obviously, we've got a small reserve team squad as it stands, and some of the boys from last year are going off to uni. Some have got opportunities to play elsewhere. So I think there'll be a natural churn. I think there'll be players that will look to sort of progress into the first team. I know there's a couple in the under-18s that Mick is looking to potentially push on into the reserves. So we're going to have a strong nucleus, and we've got some characters there. I can see just from the WhatsApp group that there's a couple of personalities in there, and it's just getting hands on and working with them in training. Obviously bringing new players on board so we can expand the squad. So have less of a reliant. What I don't want to do, and what Mick doesn't want to do, is to be forcing players from the under-18s playing reserve team football because we need the bodies. What we want to be doing is bringing them through because they're good enough and they deserve a place in the team, and they're there on merit as opposed to a necessity, which I think was not always the case last year.
Yeah.
And then building on the ambitions that the players have got, because I've got an ambitious bunch of lads there who want to do something. And I think, without knowing a lot about the opposition and who we're going to be coming up against week in, week out, just based on the players that I've got at my disposal and their personalities, and what I do know from the research that I've been able to do, is that I'm excited. I'm excited to get started. I'm excited to work with these lads. I'm excited to put some decent results on the board and see where next season can take us. And I think ultimately, if the reserves are performing well and the under-18s are performing well and the first team are performing well, then that puts Long Melford as a club in a very good position, especially post this season with everything that's happened.
Yeah.
And I think that can only be exciting for the club, for the community of fans that we've got, and for the future of the club.
Exactly. It's like all the teams in the third. And I know there's a few teams who have got like the first and the reserves team, and most of the clubs what we have in the league already. But there's a few teams now which have got the under-18s, which is great to see. So it's a good catchment area, especially for Norfolk, Suffolk, and of course Essex. You got loads of players in that area who want to play football, which is good to see.
Well, that's it, and what we can offer them is a platform to play that potentially at a higher level than what they've been playing at previously, and that's what I'm interested in finding out and sort of learning through working with the players is how the levels translate. So how does reserve team football compare to sort of fellow non-prem and under 18, so that we can work with players on that journey and that development, but also in terms of then bringing players in. I've been quite fortunate. Obviously, Lee Greenwood, who I mentioned previously, is going to be one of my assistants for the coming season, and Lee's been playing in and around the area for longer than he'd probably like me to tell you.
Okay.
But he's been around a little while, so he's got a healthy black book of contacts, and obviously because he was involved at Long Melford Reserves a couple of years ago, he knows a few lads that maybe have fallen away from the game that he's hoping to sort of coax back in. And obviously through another announcement that I'll make in the coming weeks, we have someone else with tons and tons of experience. So I've surrounded myself with people that know local football and know sort of the Thurlow Nunn or the Border League. So whilst I may not personally have that level of detail, I've put myself in the hands of good people who are also very good coaches. So I've got a strong backroom team. So couple that with some strong players, and obviously the support of Jamie, Mick, and Steve, and everyone else at the club. And I think we're in a good place. And as long as the players buy into A, playing a good brand of football, B, playing with a smile on your face, and C, winning games, then the progression could be quite natural, and I think we can have some fun along the way.
Definitely. But I've just got one question for you, Dave. Doing quite a lot of social media recently with this pandemic, what's happening at the moment. I've been doing of course these podcasts. I've also done highlights of games as well, posting them up on Twitter. You've probably seen some of them. It's only like a 9 or 10 second video, and it's like getting like 5,000 to 6,000 views, on these little images, which is great to see. Because when I went to see it a couple of years ago, there's really nothing going about. You might get the odd one or two doing it, but now there seems to be quite a lot of people, doing it voluntary, and it's good to see. I don't know what you think about it, Dave. Do you think it's a good thing, or do you think it's a bad thing?
I mean, I think it's a brilliant thing. I have to say, I think it's such a great thing. And I mean, shout out to the guys that put the effort in. But I think you talk about volunteers in grassroots football at all levels, from the people that do stuff behind the scenes, to the club secretaries, to the people that turn up on match days to set up the grounds or make the teas and sell the bacon rolls. Everyone has a part to play, big or small. But I think what social media allows us to do now that we couldn't do previously is promote the game. And mean, massive shout. You know Spencer Hume, don't you?
I do, yeah.
He's a young lad that works over with the Border League. Well, Spencer's like a hero of mine. 16, 17 years of age, and his passion for football is unrivaled. He will go to games. He will do match reports. He does player profiles. I mean, if that guy doesn't make a living out of football because a club snaps him up, and whether that's to run their social media or to work in a scouting department, his football IQ is off the charts. I jokingly said to Spencer when I took the Melford job, I'd love to hire him as a scout. I'd love to send him to the following game's opposition and have him come back with a scouting report every week. If I could afford to do that, I would absolutely do that. Because he's a football person through and through. Lives and breathes the game. And volunteers are so important at grassroots level because, as we know, there isn't the money that's knocking around at the top of the football tree. So the work that those guys put in, the miles that they clock up, the travel, wind, rain, sleet or snow. I mean, here I am sitting here doing my first football podcast because you're prepared to give your time to let people to make it happen, because without you, this is me talking to myself on an iPhone and then sticking it up on the internet for 3 people to listen to, and 2 of them will be related to me. So massive kudos to everybody that puts their heart and soul into football, and it proves you don't have to be a player, you don't have to be a manager. You can film a clip, and there were some absolute golden ones last season that got picked up and they go viral, and suddenly you've made a Saturday Park player into a local viral sensation, just because you've taken the time to go out of your way to film a game. There was the harmonica one. Do you remember that from last year? Pre-season game. Referee got delayed, so they had someone on the sidelines start the game as a referee, but they didn't have a whistle, so they gave him a harmonica. That got played on Sky Sports News.
There you go.
That never happens if Spencer's not there.
Exactly. That's the beauty of non-league football. You know, if Spencer wasn't there recording these highlights, I have seen his highlights, which are on YouTube. He's done a remarkable job, really, because he's only doing it with an iPhone, which is great.
Yeah.
I know the iPhone's probably the best thing to do. You know, you've got it in your pocket. You might as well just film the games, put it on social media. You never know what's going to happen, especially with.
No, absolutely, and he's a great kid, because he was actually, there were a couple of clubs turned around and said, like, let's have a whip round and we'll get him some proper equipment.
Yeah, I think people should. Yeah.
I think it's an absolute no-brainer. But like I say, I know Spencer's got ambitions, and he'll go on to do big things in the game. Well, he can do whatever he wants if he puts his mind to it, because he's a very bright boy, and
definitely.
He's got a bright future in the game. So credit to him and all of the volunteers, because so many people behind the scenes will do so much just to allow a game of football to happen and make it easier for us managers, us players, to go out and do what they want to do on a Saturday afternoon. And that's why, more than anything, once this virus is we're out the other side, and we're hopefully back to doing what we love, we'll see players come back with a renewed desire to be playing the game and really put their heart and soul into it. Because I know sometimes we'll get a bit, not bored, but it becomes a bit tedious. It becomes a bit, here we go again. And I think for some people, this lockdown scenario hopefully will give them a renewed passion for the game, a renewed desire to go out there and really express themselves. And I for one, cannot wait for that to happen. And I'm so excited at the opportunity, whenever it may come, to get out and do what I love, and that's winning football games.
Definitely, especially when I think the attendances of the games are actually getting bigger and bigger. You can see the game against Stonemark against Wroxham, the other way round, in the Vars Cup, they had over 1,000 people at the ground at Trafford Park, which is unbelievable to see.
I mean, that's incredible. And the fact that people are turning up and they're paying to watch these games, and I mean, for me, obviously, over Hackney Marshes, we had 200-300 people turn up to watch our cup final, which was, I mean, that was a very proud day for me and obviously the boys, and I mean, we great to get the result at the end of it and walk away with a cup as well. But to have people coming out of their way to come and watch a game that you're involved with, now to kick it on to the next level and to have paying fans sitting there watching your team come out onto that pitch, that's exciting. And I'm excited just thinking about it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, David, I wish you all the best for next season.
Thank you. And I hope to see you over at Stonyland.
Hopefully that Thetford will be in the league. So hopefully I'll come over and speak to you. And I wish you all the best.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Thank you very much, and thank you again for having me and all that you're doing for grassroots non-league football. Not a problem. So for people who are listening, thank you very much for listening, and I will see you on the next one. For now, bye for now.